Good afternoon and greetings, greetings, greetings. Today, I just want to ask y'all a question. Do you know the things that you think about determine your lifestyle, where you work, what you eat, how you live, where you travel, how much money you got? Do you know your thinking is the conclusion of all of these things? Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. And the thing is, what we got to remember, if we ain't in control of our thinking, somebody else is. And they will tell us to think lesser in order to keep us in their control. But I'm telling you, you wasn't born or you didn't come from a place where you had lesser thoughts. Today's topic is on thoughts. Thoughts. Your thoughts become things in the divine mind. I keep telling people when they meet me and they ask me about the metaphysical part of any book, especially the Bible, I keep telling them that we have to be careful on what we think because the vibrations that is sent out, it start collecting other thoughts to build whatever you've been thinking about. Whatever you think about the most and whatever you give a emotional spark to, it's going to start collecting other thoughts until that thought be demonstrated in your mind over and over and over and over again. So that's why we got to get out of thinking wrong and get into the right thinking. Thoughts is so powerful. See, if you know what you made out of and how powerful you truly are, you will start thinking on a higher level. And that is our problem. We thinking on a lower level. We think low self-esteem. We think low of ourselves. So we speak the words. Now, it ain't all your fault. It ain't all your fault. But we ain't worried about who at blame. But the thing is, your thoughts is so powerful. And I'm here to tell you. Listen, we dealing with a product of thinking. That's what thought is, a product of thinking. A mental vibration or impulse. A mental vibration of impulse. And you got to remember that vibration. You got to think on this level. The universe vibrates. First of all, it's energy, emotion, and then it vibrates into frequency. And everything in this universe has vibrated into existence. That's why you got to be careful on how you thinking and then how you speaking. So listen, check this out. We know that in the mental aspect, because we all are spirit, and that's another concept we got to get in our head and in our subconscious, that we are spiritual or Some people will say energy. And that's why we cause a vibration. When we think, when we speak, it causes vibrations into the etheric realm that is all around us. We're going to get deep on him. Now, each thought is as an identity. It's an identity. It has a signature that the universe pick up and recognize. That's how awesome the presence of the divine absolute is around us. And we got to remember that. We got to come to the understanding that what we've been taught in the past is not correct. The absolute is all around you, moving through you, everything. So the identity that has a centered ego, that's what your thought is. It's a ego within your thought process. Now it could be wrong or it could be right. It could be good or it could be bad. So these are the things that you got to pay attention to. And I'm gonna get to the point where I'm gonna help you understand where you need to put and place your focus at, because a lot of people don't know that they thinking wrong, because this is the way they was taught. But when you in this atmosphere of goodness, you got to think exactly the way it is programmed for us to think. Now listen, it's got an ego, and it's all around it, which all its elements, all of it. I mean, every element in it is revolving in this. Everything. I mean, I don't care what you can think of is in it. Whatever you think is in it. That's how we get what we get, through our thoughts. We think on it, we speak it, we take action, and we go get that thing. This is how manifestation on everything take place. It's within our thought process. Everything we see is in our thought process. Thoughts are capable of expressing themselves. Every thought clothes itself in a life form according to the character of giving it by the thinker. So everybody's thoughts is different, okay? But it works the same way, because I might think on $1 million level, you might think on $1 billion level, somebody else might think on a $100,000 level, and our character and the emotions that we put into our thoughts, it causes the effect to appear in this realm. It depends, fast, slow, peaceful. However, it depends on the thinker. If you are a high level thinker, or you manifest it. So that's where we need to get back to the high level, because we have been dumbed down so bad, we don't know the capabilities that we have within ourselves. So here's the process that we got to go through. Listen, the forms is simple. Simple. The conclusion of the thought. It is the simple conclusion of the thought. Now, here's the thing. When it's coming to the conclusion, Your thought don't stop until it manifests. Even though it started in the mind, your thought process do not stop until whatever you aiming to achieve has manifested. It's still building. It's still building momentum to grab that thing. That's why we got to be careful, because some people think on lower levels and cause a whole lot of harm to themselves. We all have experienced that. That's why we got to sit in meditation and reprogram ourselves to the divine self, to the divine mind, in order to think on its level. Yeah, we got to. And it say one of the truths of metaphysics is that thoughts are things. Ain't no lie about this. Ain't no lie about this. You can't tell me that you haven't experienced it. You do it every day, unconsciously. You think about going to work, you go to work. You think about laying in the bed, you lay in the bed. You thinking about having a good time, you go have a good time. You think about rest, you go rest. You do it all the time, but you haven't took the time out to think that you can go to a whole nother level with it. And that's where we got to go. In order for us, like Sia say, you got to get a little crazy. Oh my God. Sia say you got to get a little crazy in order to understand, because it's going to look crazy to the people around you when you start changing your mind. When your Christ consciousness start taking over your thought process, it's going to look crazy to people. But that's all right. We don't care about what people think about us. What we want to do is get our consciousness to that Christ consciousness so we can start expressing God down here. That's what we want to do. And then they'll come along when they see that the it's working, your thought process has changed and transformed. It's working for you. They're gonna want to come in because it's gonna work for them. We all built this way, but we got took out of the way. And now we trying to get back into the flow of the source. And that's the absolute. Listen, thoughts are things that the mind of man marshals its faculties and literally makes into living entities the thoughts that is entertained is also foregone conclusion. It's already a foregone conclusion. It's already there. It's already there. When your 12 faculties in your mind, and we're going to get to them faculties because they very eternal. That's the word for it, eternal. Oh my God. They're very eternal. But we got to remember our thought process and remember these 12 faculties that is in us, in our brain. We got to remember these things. Now, here's the thing. When you see yourself thinking lesser, you got to deny that. You can't let your subconscious say this is true. You cannot afford to let negative thoughts, impulses, vibrations into your subconscious, because your subconscious, I promise you on everything, that your subconscious gonna produce it. You better believe it. That's how you got everything that you have. That's how you is living the way you living, because of your thinking. And that is the main thing that I illustrate, is changing your thoughts. You'll change your world around you. The words, things, it's not doing a full justice to everything, but you get the gist. It's like when I use that word things, I mean everything is a thing. We're gonna just put it that way. But I want y'all to know that your mind is so powerful. It's so powerful. It is. The character of the thoughts to which the mind gives life. Listen, you can think somebody back into health. Oh my God. You can visualize people in great health. You can visualize yourself in great health. You can see them people prosperity. You can see the people and yourself successful. And the thing is, that's the power that we have towards one another. Because I tell you, all is one. And what I'm coming to realize is we got to change the way we think. We got peoples outside of us that we love dearly, but they're not using their capabilities or their right mind to survive. And now what we got to do, we got to stand in the gap. Stand in the gap. It is. Oh my God. That's old church word. We got to stand in the gap in order to see them back in a healthy state of mind and consciousness. That's what we got to do now. Because if we don't, they're going to be lost. We got to help them. That's the only way we can help some people. Some people don't want to hear what you got to say. So guess what? You got to think for them a little bit. Let me see. In life, it gives life. Your thoughts give life, substance, and intelligence. We see many animated things around us in the material world. If we compare our creative thoughts with them, we get an infinite conception of the marvelous ability of our mind in its creative capacity. And that's what we got to realize. When this book say marvelous, I mean we got to get to the point where we understand we so marvelous and we so awesome. And I dare not to think lesser of myself and speak lesser of myself and to speak lesser of my neighbor, of my family, of my friends. I only think from a highest perspective, a Christ consciousness. All is one, divine mind. I am the source. That's where we got to look from. And by us speaking and thinking, we can raise consciousness automatically. Your thought kicks off vibrations and impulses. It just shoots out impulse. And that's what we got to come to the mindset of. Let's see. Let's get to let's go on down. Thoughts is controlled by right use of affirmations and denial by the power of the mind to accept and reject these powers of the mind is the I am. Now, here's where I need to really break this down for. And you need to realize, if you don't take nothing else from this, take this. You have the power to reject any random thought that is coming at you, and you have the power to accept it. And the problem is with a lot of us, we are accepting the wrong thoughts into us. And when we allow a seed of ignorance, and then we water that ignorance. See, a seed of ignorance can just be this simple thing. You are ugly. It could be just that simple, just that simple. Now, what that would do, when you accept that in your subconscious, it's going to shoot off a vibration, impulses. Now, the frequency that you send out, the universe is going to multiply your feelings on you ugly. It's just as simple. They made it so complex, but it's simple. And when the universe start multiplying and your feelings start multiplying, then you are going to be feeling a kind of way about yourself, low self-esteem, low morale, no get up and go about yourself. And then you in the lesser vibration. But if you say, no, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, the universe gonna get that same vibration. This is the thought process that we got to correct about each individual. This is an individual homework assignment. This ain't about the collective. This is about each individual doing this work for themselves, and then when they rejoin the collective, they on point. They on point. Because their consciousness is aiming, and they feel with the Christ consciousness. And Christ consciousness, if you go back and you read any of the books, the Bible, you read any of the Quran, you read any of the Hindu texts, you read any book from Kemet, all of the individuals that was in that book, you can't find them saying any negative thing about themselves nor the absolute. Nothing. Nothing. Even in the Bible, it talks so highly of the absolute that you were thinking you couldn't help but say it's God. And that's the way you got to talk about yourself and think about yourself and your life. You got to get out of this lowly thinking. You got to. And I see so many people walking around and I know what it is. spiritual psychology. I know what it is. But we got to continue to try to uplift them. And the only way you're going to do it by affirming the right and denying the wrong. By the power of the mind to accept and reject this. Power of mind is the I am, and is thoughts the avenue of expressions. I am that thought controls dominions and thought and masters or obtain. Thoughts are controlled by the mind through its power to say yes or no, to hold on, to affirm, to deny. We got to deny these things that we've been taught in this universe. You listen, it hit me yesterday. The universe is already set up. You ain't finna change it. You ain't finna add nothing to it. Okay, this how this work. We just gonna start with the galaxy. The galaxy got many universes in it, okay, to make up the whole galaxy. Well, the universe got many what we call Earths in it to make up the universe, or worlds that make up the universe. Well, the Earth got many systems to make up the Earth, and it's many people to make up the people in the world. And this is how it is. It's set up systematically. The universe is very orderly, and it's the systems that preside inside of this earth realm spiritually is already in play. But if you don't know how to elevate your vibrations to it, you can't get in the flow and live in abundance of eternalness. Wrong thinking keep you below the system. It won't recognize ignorance. It won't recognize inferiority. It don't recognize fear. It recognizes courage, superiority. This is why the so-called is always winning, because they know the system and you don't know the system. Instead of you putting courage in your heart, you putting fear in there. So this is why they are winning and we are where we at. You get me? They know the system. And the system is not the man-made system that they running on. They doing it spiritually too. Because they know somebody, you got beings been here a long time. And they passed on this information and they kept it from the mass. I don't know why, but I'm going to get to that one day. But the whole thing is, this is how this system works. And the way you vibrate, what you vibrate on, it determines the conclusion of whatever your vibration or your emotion or your thought is. That's how this goes. Listen. Thoughts, the atmosphere, the surrounding mental calamity creates by each person. Listen, each person in accordance with their character of his thinking. Listen, I'm going to read it again. The surrounding mental climate created by each person according with their character, his thinking. Whatever you think, it determines the outcome. Oh my God. It determines the outcome. If you don't think you special, you don't love yourself, you don't take hold of your thoughts and not get ego. We're gonna deal with ego, but not get so egotistic. But the thing is, you got to understand that this universe is set up a certain way. And the only way you're gonna get this is by changing how you look at yourself and control your thoughts and deny the thoughts that gonna bring your vibration level down. That's how this going. That's how this going. Let me tell you something. You got to understand it. If you look at it like you plant a garden and you put a seed in the ground and you water this seed and you let the sun hit the seed, it's multiplying. Why? Because it's increasing. The roots are expanding. Okay? And when this thing is growing, the more the sun communicate with that plant and more you give it water, the more it's gonna grow. And as it's growing, we call that accumulating. And once it starts growing and growing and growing and growing, then you can go and get the fruit off the tree. It's the same way with your thoughts. It's the same way. Whatever, however you think, and your subconscious say, yep, that's true. It'll work. It's going to start pulling other thoughts. And when it start pulling them other thoughts, now you got a colony of thoughts. And once that colony get full grown, it's gonna bloom and bear the fruit, whatever your thought was, good or bad. You got to know how to protect your mind, your thought process. That's where it's at. Let's go. All right. Thought power. The moving force within an idea that gives it expressions. All structures are built by thoughts. Power. This power is transmuted from mind to mind and from mind to body in all living forms. This thing is, listen, that's why you got to be careful on what you're listening to. And you got to be careful what you're saying because you're listening when you're talking. Oh my God. Listen, while you saying something, your ears hearing it. We got to get away from this. I'm so tired of it. I see it everywhere. I see it everywhere. And it's poisoning us. It's not a healing thing. It is destructive. And the universe, the absolute is saying, I'm gonna let this happen to you until you want to change. We got to understand that we can change from mind to mind, they say. Well, if you get around people that's talking good and telling you something, and then you're gonna grow. Because two people in this world, people we fear, people we love, we gonna hear them. We gonna hear them too. And if it get into your subconscious, you're gonna start acting. Then the thing or situation or the people, you're a magnet, it's gonna attract. That's how powerful you is. Because you the image of the divine universe, the whole, listen, not part of the universe, the whole universe. That's why you're so powerful. Listen, the thought stuff, the omnipresent, invisible substance, ever ready to take form according to with one's mental path. What is it? The thought stuff of the universe is more. Listen, now if y'all don't hear nothing else, I gotta get right for this one, because boy, this is serious. When I tell y'all this thing serious right here. Listen. The omnipresent, invisible substance, every ready to take form in accordance with one's mental pattern. The thought stuff of the universe is more sensitive than a photograph recorder. It transcribes not only all sounds, all sounds, oh my God, but even the slightest vibration of thought. That's how sensitive the atmosphere, the energy, the absolute is around us. That's why you got to do it decent and in order. That's why you got to let the negative stuff go so you can travel on a higher frequency in order for you to be in the flow of this abundance that's already around us and powerful. You got to understand this. This is the trick being used on humanity, because you don't know this. And you know, I know I'm a small channel. I'm beginning, and I appreciate all the people that tune in and like and share the videos, and all my subscribers. I appreciate it. But instead of listening, and I ain't bad mouthing, but I'm gonna tell the truth. Instead of listening to stuff that is outside of you, entertaining you, this is the kind of stuff you need to help you transform. I know I'm a small channel. It's going to take time for me to grow, and I know it's going to grow. But the thing is, y'all need to pass this on, because people need to hear this kind of stuff. This is where the problem at. It ain't outside of us. It ain't them people bombing. It ain't them people in the White House. It ain't them people's across the street. It ain't them people at the grocery store. The problem is the way we've been taught how to use our mind, how to think. That's the problem. And when you understand that, then you will be more capable of achieving, expressing God through you. You can't do it if you in the right mind. Because the system that is set up, if you ain't in the right mind, the system that is set up will beat you down. That's why you ain't getting, you get to a certain level, you fall. Listen, just think about this. I know people go to church every Sunday. Every Sunday. I know people go to the mosque. People go to all different religious spots. And only a few is becoming millionaires and becoming divine voices, when all the whole congregation supposed to be balling out of control. It's what they are teaching that is forming their thoughts, that is keeping them in bondage. And so if they taught the right thing, how to transform the mind, then the people in the congregation will persevere and be overcomers. And that's what we need to be. It's, listen, the universe is mental. The language of the universe is emotion. You cannot become an overcomer until you understand your emotional level and train the mind and deny the wrong thinking in order to elevate on a higher level. You could, listen, you can go to any temple, any mosque, you can eat this, you cannot eat that, you can do all these things until you understand the system that is around us, that runs through us, that penetrate everything, that every substance came from, and the source power that is behind it, and it's eternal. Until you understand that, you're just spinning your wheels. Listen to what it says. It says so sensitive. It's sensitive to every, it's like when you got, okay, just think about when you had a toothache. Everybody don't have them. And you was hungry and you needed something to eat, and you was chewing on that side. But as soon as the little something got on that side where the tooth was aching at, it was so sensitive. The first, it was like a shock, the impulse. It's just like that. You just grab it like that. That's how sensitive this universe is. So when you going about your day-to-day activities and you just thinking random thoughts and boy, look here, you setting yourself up. But now don't get me wrong, the I am that is in you will help you collect your thoughts and say, hey, let's cast them out. Oh, don't do that. But right now, it's built up in the youth and the misled so bad that they murdering people, they destroying their own life, they hating their own self. People are dying from killing their own selves more and more because the possession of ignorance is overwhelming them. And this is how you get out of ignorance or error, the thought process. Awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's sensitive. Listen, thought vibrations. Listen, thought vibrations energetically sends out by force and power of thoughts. All who are in like planes of consciousness with the thinker of the thought receives these thoughts energetically. Simply saying, your tribe get attracted to your vibe. But now this could be positive and negative, because if you on a low frequency, you're going to attract to people that's on low frequency. That's just the bottom line. The signal is out there. But now, if you elevate your frequency, then you're going to start attracting people that is on that frequency. Now, the lower frequency, I'm telling you, that ain't what we supposed to be at, and it ain't good. And if you be honest with yourself, you know your vibrations when you were thinking crazy is low. When you didn't know nothing about self or understanding connection to the universe, you know it was low. You knew something was wrong and you didn't feel right, so you started thinking, you started reading, you started trying to get some information. So once you start feeding the mind starts saying, wait, they on a path, because your thoughts had changed. And when your thoughts had changed, then your elevation level went to another level. All this other stuff that we think we deep on ain't nothing. You can know stuff, but it still got a low vibration. If you don't know the information that is connecting you back to your right state of consciousness, then you just spinning your wheel. Right now, if I was you, I'd drop every book, every lecture, every YouTube channel that is not feeding my thought process to transform to the Christ consciousness. And then when you go back and look at them things and read them books, you'll be like, okay, I see what the Virgo talking about. I'm telling you, it's a whole nother level. It's power. And that's all around them. You know, many people use the ideals of Nikola Tesla, divine in his way. They use that for external things, inventions, creations, energy. But I'm telling you, as within, so without. As without, so within. If energy, vibration, and frequency is outside of you, then it's inside of you. So if you look at your physical, mental, and soul body that way, then you will grasp it more easily. This is how it's set up. The system is set up like this. This is how you get in the flow of the source. Just like when you see birds in the air and one is leading the pack. That is the alpha. That is the strongest bird in that pack. And when they flowing, the older birds and the baby birds is at the end of that V. Well, you know what I mean. They at the end of the V. And they call that a vortex. Okay. They call that a vortex because it's got a flow going through the stronger birds. In order for the older birds and the baby birds, all they got to do is just hold their wings out and glide. The other birds be flapping. And what I'm telling you is, we get in line and in harmony with the source. It's a vortex for us to float in. But wrong thinking will cause you to miss that vortex power. It's a power. It's all around us. That's how we move and have our being. Listen, energy sent out by force and power of thought. All who are in the planes of consciousness with the thinker of the thoughts receive these thoughts energetically. In this way, telepathically, messages are sent and received. When one sends thoughts into a personal consciousness, the process is liberation and dangerous. There is a law of spirit that equalizes all forces generated by the mind. This law is in the keeping of divine principle, and there is nothing, neither success or safety in using thoughts energetically throughout its guiding wisdom. And what it's telling you, all of these, now listen, you could get in vortexes, and we do, that we get information from different people, and it's causing us more danger than it is good. You want to get in the right vortex. You want to get in the right flow, the source, the true reality, because God is all reality. But your thinking is keeping you out of God reality or the universe or the absolute, whatever you want to call it. The divine mother and father, whatever you want to call it. It's keeping you out because, let me show you, because of these right here. First of all, we're trying to get rid of the ego, but the ego is the I in I am. You can't get rid of the ego. What you can do, nurture the ego and keep the ego to a level of right thinking and right action and right attitude in order to walk in a divine mind, in order for you to be successful, prosperity, great health, loving, joy, infinite money. It's right here for us. And they lied to us. But here's the thing, what so many got to get to. Now, this is the 12 faculties. This is what keep majority of us out of the flow and the will, the grace, the goodness, because we don't know these simple things. The thing's simple. The faculties. I told you there's 12 faculties in our brain. And these faculties is connected to the 12 organ centers in our body. Okay? Throughout our body. Now, the chakra system, so many people think the chakra system is not in our body. It's outside of it's the aura. It's outside of our body. It starts below and goes to the crown chakra, but it's outside of us. Okay. The 12 faculties is inside of the body. The 12 organ systems is inside of the body. Each faculty, it's by nerve endings, is connected to each one. And each one has a vibration that it kicks off. Okay. And when these vibrations is not in harmony, that's when you get dis-ease. But if you in harmony, you at ease. So the thing is, your thought process will carry your body if it's in harmony with the divine principle of the universe. Then guess what? You're gonna be in harmony. But it's a contrary or opposite of the divine universe. You're gonna be in dis-ease. That's how this works. Now, this is what you need to feast on. These are the thoughts that you need to rock with. And I got a 13 I'm gonna give you, but I'm gonna give you these 12. It's the faculty is spiritual and individualized centers of God consciousness. Okay. The 12 faculties are IDs in divine mind, or listen, and you can elevate these words, but I need y'all to understand these and play with all 12 of them, because once you start playing with these 12, then you will start understanding a little bit more about yourself. But faith, I would change that word faith into convince or conviction. It's more stronger. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's the example I need to give you. You can use these words, but you can go to a whole nother level. Faith, strength, wisdom, judgment, love, power, imagination, understanding, will, order, zeal, renunciation, and life. Them the 12. Think on them things. Study them things. Get them things inside of you. And then you will start generating, vibrating the necessary emotional energy for your frequency to raise up to a consciousness, Christ-like, divine mind level. That's what we need to work on. That's your homework. Do that for homework. Man takes control of his faculties through exercising the will. What that mean is, I'm willing. I ain't letting nothing get in my way at this particular moment. I'm finna do my homework on faith. I'm gonna study faith. No. I'm gonna use faith. I'm gonna use conviction. I'm gonna use convince. I'm gonna work on that faculty. Now, once I get that and get that in line and harmony, now I'm finna work on strength. Find out where I'm weak at so I can add some strength there. That's how this go. You weren't sent down here to be less, but the best, to manifest experiencing and let the universe come through you, to bring heaven through you. And your job is to bring heaven out of you into this realm. There are 2 ways to develop spiritual faculties. Now, I'm going to tell you, okay, through the evolutionary law of experience and trial, the schools of 12 sons of Jacob, they just telling you who are the 12 sons of Jacob, the 12 that was in the Revelations, the 12 apostles, the 12 stones on Aaron's breastplate, It's all over. They talking about your faculties that you got to master in order to raise your vibration so you can start getting more downloads and how the universe really works and how you're supposed to operate within it and correspond to it. You can't do it no other way but in the mind, because that's all you is, mind. Divine mind, you mind. So we're going to walk in the dominions and we can change dominions. Y'all don't understand how powerful you is. The Virgo will tell you though. Divine love. True love. So listen. Y'all walk the walk with confidence. Start with confidence. Start with courage. And when you got confidence and courage that the universe is always for you, ain't against you, that you won with it, and no matter what you ask for, it's going to come about. Everything going to happen in your way to move you and elevate you to the higher heights and the higher frequency, because you don't want to be in the lower frequency anymore, that you denying anything that lesser in your universe, that you is great, an overcomer of the world and everything that is less. Know that. Walk in that. Live in that. Because that knowing is deep down in you already know that. I'm just here to trigger that. And with that being said, know thyself, love thyself, and be true to thyself. Peace. One love.